Welcome, everyone. What an honor it is to have Senator Durbin on campus of the Richland Community College. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize just a couple of our Richland board members who have joined us today. Dr. David Cooprider is in our audience, as is Tom Ritter. We always appreciate our trustees who support projects like the one today. The Center is a tremendous believer in community colleges and recognizes that Illinois community colleges are in a unique position to assist businesses in developing a high-skilled, high-performance workforce. Thank you, Senator, for supporting and believing in community colleges. Richland Community College works with our business and industry to develop high-quality, customized training programs that deliver specifically to meet their unique needs. Richland trains employees in basic skills or in highly specialized areas, such as advanced manufacturing techniques, which we are doing in this laboratory. We strive to employ only those faculty members who have the skills and knowledge to develop the training programs that address workforce development challenges, as well as instill in our students the skills needed to be successful in the workplace in Central Illinois. Illinois is fortunate to have Senator Dick Durbin working on our behalf in Washington. At this time, I would like to welcome the Senator to the podium to talk about the legislation that further supports community colleges and workforce training. Senator.
Thanks, Gail.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Gail. I want to thank Dr. Saunders for hosting this visit today. I want to acknowledge my friend and colleague, State Senator Andy Minar, who will say a few words, and acknowledge as well John Dahm, who took us on a tour here of this particular teaching facility, Robin McCoy, who's here with the Workforce Investment Solutions, as well as Dr. Doug Brower, Vice President of Economic Development and Innovative Workforce Solutions at Richland Community College. I just toured briefly this Richland Community College program, and I'll tell you why I did. If you ask the people in Decatur, Macon County, Central Illinois, our state, or even our nation, what the number one concern is, it's jobs. You hear it from every politician at every level, from the president all the way down to the city council and even lower. It's a reflection on the fact that people are uncertain about the future. They wonder if there's an opportunity out there that will give them a chance to live at least as good a life as their parents, or maybe better. And they know that there are jobs, some out there, that may give them a paycheck, but not a standard of living, which they really want. It turns out that we're standing in a place, one of the many places across America, that can answer that question in a favorable way. Our community college system across the state of Illinois and across America offers an affordable opportunity for training and education to bring people to good paying jobs and a good future. And I think we need to do more. So does the President. President Obama spoke to Congress in the State of the Union address and suggested that we needed to do more. We needed to link up community colleges nationwide with employers so that we are actually training and educating young men and women for real jobs in the marketplace, jobs that pay a reasonable and in many cases a very good compensation. The idea behind this effort at the end of the program is when local businesses like Barton Manufacturing, which we'll be saying a few words here in a moment, hire graduates, providing companies with a pool of labor that they know is qualified and already have familiarity with the company. When I went through some of these training areas, classrooms, it turns out that many of the best local employers send their good employees to Richland Community College to be even better employees. They return to the workplace not only with more skills, but more earning power. So how can we build on this? We've already seen an infusion of federal funds, as Dr. Saunders mentioned, into community colleges to buy equipment and to prepare workers for the 21st century workplace. But I think we need to do more. I've joined with Al Franken of Minnesota, my colleague in the Senate, and introduced the Community College to Career Fund Act. It authorizes $8 billion in competitive grants to encourage more effective education and training of our workers. The grants would go to community colleges to support partnerships with workforce trainers, labor, businesses, and ensure that workers are ready for the jobs that are available. The bill creates incentives for these programs to help people find jobs by setting aside money for high-performance outcomes. The bill would make grants available for states so they can work with companies that are having trouble finding workers that they need. And finally, it would provide grants to help entrepreneurs start their own businesses. The program would be administered jointly by the Departments of Education and Labor, and the grants would represent a critical investment in our future. I'm going to work with Senator Franken. We believe that this measure can be passed in the Senate and sent over to the House, even in this current session of Congress. There are so many examples as I travel around the state, as I visit these community colleges, that give me hope. You see, even in the midst of our worst recession that we just went through, there were still companies, manufacturing companies in Illinois that were doing well. They were making profits. Many of them continued to hire people. But many of these manufacturing companies that I've visited all across our state, from Chicago all the way to southern Illinois, tell me the same thing. We need skilled employees. I go to Kraft over in Champaign. It's been there 50 years. They need industrial maintenance employees. And they pay a good salary, a good starting wage for those people. But to get the right skill, the right education, person motivated and prepared to go to work is what they need. The bridge between that employer and a potential employee is a community college like Richland and others around our state. This program will incentivize community colleges like Richland to think anew, to create new partnerships and new ideas, and to build on them so that we can keep our promise, politicians from every level, to create new jobs in this country. Let me turn it over at this point to Andy Menard to say a few words. He's our state senator, and what we're talking about here is a closer partnership between the federal and state government, and the community college system is part of Andy's responsibility. Andy?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Senator Durbin. There isn't a day go by that I don't have a conversation with someone here in Decatur in the 9 months that I've had the privilege of serving in the state Senate that isn't struggling, that isn't unemployed, or that isn't underemployed. And that's because our economy is changing, and it's changing quickly, and it's changing not just in our country but across the world, and that's why the legislation that Senator Durbin is putting forward is so important. We have to make sure that workers have the skills that they need to keep up in this changing economy, and there's no better way to do it, in my opinion, than to invest in places like Richland Community College. I said this the last time I had a visit here with a microphone in front of me, that there is nothing but good things going on here at Richland. The community college system in this state is strong. It's one of our biggest assets. This legislation will be a very, very positive thing, and I commend Senator Durbin for his continued work. It's no secret that Macon County and Decatur and its unemployment rate has been consistently higher than the state average for quite a long period of time, probably a generation. But we can turn this around by making sure that we have partnerships in place, making sure that employers talk to, in this case, Richland Community College, which we just saw a perfect example of in this room right here. We can turn this around by making sure that the state partners with the federal government. And again, I commend Senator Durbin for introducing this legislation that will help us here in Central Illinois.
Thank you, Senators. The hallmark of community colleges is that it's flexible, able to respond to the needs of our business and industry. It's my pleasure to introduce Darby Brinkcotter, Dean of Continuing Professional Education, to talk about Richland's newest workforce training programs.
Thank you, President Saunders. It is my pleasure to be able to tell you about how Richland is addressing some of the needs that you've just heard expressed by our senators. Richland Community College is very fortunate to be one of 21 community colleges in Illinois who formed the Illinois Network for Advanced Manufacturing Consortium, fondly known as INAM. These 21 colleges met over a year ago. They partnered on a federal Department of Labor Trade Adjustment Assistance Community College Career Training Grant, and they were awarded $12.9 million to be distributed over 4 years. The sole purpose of this grant is to expand the delivery of education and training programs in high-skill manufacturing occupations, programs that lead to industry-recognized credentials and also to associate degrees. Richland's share of these funds is approximately $525,000, and here's how we're going to use those funds. Richland will use the money that we are granted to improve our manufacturing curriculum and to update our equipment in the engineering technology programs that are geared toward manufacturing occupations, especially in the areas of CNC and welding, as those skill areas are the most critical shortages identified by our local employers. Our specific focus will be to develop and implement stackable technical certificates and bridge programs into manufacturing, such as the Certified Production Technician Certificate. And this is a nationally recognized industry credential that's offered by the Manufacturing Skill Standards Council. Students can move on from this certificate, which will prepare them for entry-level employment, into more specialized areas, whether it's CNC, welding, or industrial maintenance. And as such, they can earn additional certificates, credentials, and eventually an AAS degree. It's also imperative that community colleges have up-to-date equipment in order to train these workers and adequately prepare them for the high-tech factories that we have out there now. It's not the assembly lines that we had for years and years. They are very high-tech equipment, machinery, computerized, and that sort of thing, so they require a whole new set of skills. And so the majority of the funding from this grant will be used by Richland to purchase new equipment, new CNC equipment, welding centers, robotic welding machines, and will purchase software and support materials to support these programs. Richland has very long-standing relationships in this community to help support the goals of this grant. We are very fortunate. Richland and our local workforce agency, Workforce Investment Solutions, recently partnered with a number of other workforce agencies and community colleges from west to east central Illinois, and we formed the Central Illinois Advanced Manufacturing Partnership. This group was recently awarded a grant by the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, also a federal Department of Labor grant, and that will be used to provide tuition and fees for the students who are eligible, who want to enroll in these manufacturing programs to be trained for high-tech careers. And that is a great complement to the INAM grant. The INAM grant cannot pay tuition and fees. So this is another step that our federal government is taking to help students afford this training. Additionally, local employers in our community, like John and Randy here, have been very supportive. We have a strong relationship with them and a long-standing partnership. They serve on our advisory committees and advise us in regards to curriculum and our equipment needs. They provide internships and work-based learning experiences for our students, and they provide jobs for our graduates. We will continue to seek their support in providing work-based learning opportunities for the INAM students also. And I certainly want to let everyone know how much we appreciate Senator Durbin and Senator Menard, especially the legislation that Senator Durbin will be co-sponsoring, as he mentioned, the Community College to Career Fund Act, which, as he said, will create competitive grant funding, which will help fund partnerships between community colleges and businesses. As we all know, when you attempt to make long-standing systemic change and you want it to be sustainable, no one entity can do that alone, and I think we know that very well at Richland. Our president always refers to our middle name community, and that's very true. It takes our legislators, it takes our employers, our colleges, and all of them working together, workforce, to make successful programs. And Richland's very proud to be a partner with all these entities. There's such a need out there with the current economic climate. The funding will definitely help us reach our goals and ultimately help our students to be successful and our employers to have a qualified workforce.
And finally, let me introduce to you the Dean of Business and Technology of Richland Community College, Jack Adwell.
Thank you, President Saunders. So I'm hearing this term, partnerships, again and again and again today, and I'm sure you are as well. Partnerships with federal government, partnerships with the state government, partnerships with workforce investment, partnerships in so many different areas as community colleges come together. But I want you to understand that the success that we look at when we start talking about skilled trades programs, like the ones that we offer here at Richland Community College, are heavily dependent upon our partners in industry. Industry plays such a vital part in not only giving us the job opportunities for our students, but also providing input into the quality of courses and education that we then provide our students through our advisory committees. Throughout the year, our business partners will gather together with us to analyze the effectiveness of our programs, to identify skill sets that may be missing, so that we can adjust them and provide those skills necessary needed by our industry. Today we have two representatives from two of our outstanding business partners that I would like to acknowledge. Randy Tohill is here from the Caterpillar Corporation. He's the Facility Talent Development Consultant. And we have John Jackson, Vice President of Operations at Barton Manufacturing. I've asked John if he would come forward and just share a few words with us today.
Thank you, Jack. Barton Manufacturing has been a direct recipient of the partnership that we have, not only with Richland Community College, but with Robin McCoy and her group, and many others that are part of that. Over the years, we've seen many people come through this program, both in electronics and maintenance and drafting. Those are great things that we need to build basic skills for what we need in manufacturing. I'm proud to stand here today and say that to see that people talking about CNC machining and to talk about welding, because those are two passions in my life, because the biggest two jobs that I have to offer this community and the people that are unemployed are those two, CNC and welding. So to hear that there's an investment, there's a move that's there to be able to go forward, we can be better than we are. We need funding to do it. We need people to be able to step up and say, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty because I can make a good wage to be able to raise my family here in this community in Macon County and throughout the state. So I thank you for bringing this group here, for the legislation that's being launched, for people to be able to recognize that it's needed in this community, a community where we have very high unemployment, but we can find very few people that have the basic skills that we need to be able to employ them in the industry. So thank you very much for being here, being a part of this. Thank all the people that are here today. Thank you.
I'd just like to thank both senators, Senator Richard Durbin and Senator Andy Minar, for being here this afternoon. Richard Durbin has been a wonderful senator to Richland Community College and to the state of Illinois for many years now, and we look forward to you being senator for us for many years to come.